The Carthaginians were led by a general named Hamilcar, whose oldest son, born in 247 BC, would go on to become one of the most famous generals in the history of the world. His name was Hannibal, a name that means joy of Baal. Remember the ancient Canaanite god? Hannibal's military strategies and tactics were way ahead of their time. In fact, they're written about and studied to this very day. At the age of 9, Hannibal's father made him swear an oath with the blood of a sacrificed animal that he would never forget that Rome was his enemy for life. This created a hatred for Rome in the young Hannibal that consumed him for the rest of his life. At the age of 26, he assembled his first army, a group of professional soldiers for hire called mercenaries. These warriors became fiercely devoted to their leader, a devotion that would be a valuable asset for Hannibal, as he would soon lead them on a journey that would go down in history as one of the most ambitious military expeditions ever attempted. Before setting off, Hannibal added another asset to his arsenal: war elephants. The sight of these massive war machines struck paralyzing fear into the hearts of the enemy. If you've seen The Lord of the Rings, this is where the idea came from. It was the ancient version of shock and awe. Then, beginning from his outpost in Spain, Hannibal embarked on his warpath to Rome. But instead of the traditional approach by sea, he did the unthinkable. To say that Hannibal took the long way around is an understatement. His plan was to move all 90,000 foot soldiers, 12,000 horsemen, and of course his elephants through Spain, north through France, and east over the treacherous Alps, and invade northern Italy by surprise. One of Hannibal's first great challenges was crossing the Rhone River. Now try getting a cranky and skittish elephant to get on a small raft without panicking. But with his usual brilliance, Hannibal ordered long piers to be built jutting out into the river. He covered the piers with dirt to make the elephant think it was dry ground, with the last part of the pier designed to be cut away as a raft. Not a bad idea, so long as the elephant could be kept calm for the ride. Now, a few elephants did panic and stampede, but Hannibal was able to get every elephant across without losing any of them. The real fun began when Hannibal and his army reached the mountains. The Alps were virtually impassable, with no roads and sometimes not even a narrow footpath. Not exactly the best conditions for an army expedition with thousands of men and animals. They were plagued by hostile encounters from fierce mountain tribes. Then they were hit with severe storms and freezing temperatures, all the while traversing precarious high-altitude passageways, some of which had to be carved right out of the mountain. Not only was weather and altitude a problem, it wasn't long before starvation and sickness began to take their toll, claiming even more lives. But after a grueling 15 days, Hannibal finally reached the other side of the Alps. Historians' accounts of how many of Hannibal's men died while crossing the Alps varies, but the range is staggering. Between 20 to 36,000 men were lost during the perilous journey. That's an average of up to 2,400 men per day. You can see why no one had ever attempted such an exploit before. But Hannibal, despite unthinkable odds, never gave up, accomplishing what most men thought was impossible. He then attacked Italy from the north and achieved an impressive string of victories as he traveled south into Italy. And what about those war elephants? Well, they finally paid off.
Elephants, to the attack!
They helped Hannibal clean house all over Italy, usually by stampeding and charging the terrified Roman armies. Imagine looking over your shoulder, seeing this. But slowly, Hannibal's elephant supply dwindled, and when he sent for reinforcements back in Carthage, Hannibal's political enemies back home thwarted a plan that would have sent him what he needed to be victorious. With little support from home, Hannibal fought in Italy a total of 16 years, engaging in skirmishes and battles with Roman armies, but never a full-scale attack on Rome itself. Only once did Hannibal march up to the great city, only to reconsider the siege and turn away. He and his army were eventually called back to Carthage, never to return to the land he swore to conquer so many years earlier. Hannibal, despite never losing a battle up to that point, had lost the war, all because he had no reinforcements. Imagine how different world history would have played out had Hannibal succeeded in defeating Rome. Rome's victory in the Punic Wars was a defining moment and set the tone for centuries of worldwide military and political dominance. The power of the Roman Senate, however, was soon replaced by the ultimate authority of one man, the Caesar.